Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Harrington, she said, voice soft, steady, lethal. Her eyes held his without flinching. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Victoria recovered first, claws out. Darling, you look different. The insult dressed as praise dripped venom. Emily smiled, slow and devastating. I thought I'd dress for the occasion, since I was invited as your husband's date. 100 heads turned. Alex felt every stare like needles. He opened his mouth, nothing came out. His friends, the ones who dared him, stood gaping like fools. Emily tilted her head. You said it would be fun. Fun. The word he'd thrown at her like trash now burned his throat. The orchestra struck up a waltz. Before he could think, Alex extended his hand, because it was the only thing left to do. Emily looked at it for a long beat, then placed her fingers in his. The floor cleared for them. He pulled her close, closer than he'd ever dared in 2 years of her bringing him coffee at 6 a.m., fixing his disasters, saving his empire while he barely learned her sister's name. You came to laugh at me, she said quietly, spinning under the lights. But look around, Alex. Who's laughing now? His hand tightened on her waist. Emily, I don't. Her voice cut like silk over steel. Don't lie tonight. Not when I finally feel seen. His heart slammed against his ribs. He had invited her to humiliate her. Instead, she had stripped him bare in front of the entire city. Across the room, Victoria's face twisted as her lover texted her to hurry upstairs. She tossed her hair and vanished into the crowd, already plotting revenge. Alex didn't notice. He couldn't look away from the woman in his arms. I'm sorry, he whispered, the words foreign in his mouth. I'm so damn sorry. Emily's eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. Not here. Not for him. Not yet. I know you are, she said simply. But sorry doesn't undo years of being invisible. The music swelled. Cameras clicked. Tomorrow the photo of the billionaire and the assistant who outshone every star in the room would break the internet. Right now, Alex felt the weight of every cruel joke, every dismissive glance, every time he called her Carter instead of Emily. And for the first time in his life, Alexander Harrington was the one who felt small. Emily stepped back as the song ended, the spell breaking. She gave him the faintest smile, sad, proud, final. Thank you for the dance, she said, loud enough for the nearest microphones to catch. It was everything I dreamed it would be. Then she turned and walked away, the crowd parting like the Red Sea for a queen. Alex stood rooted, watching the emerald gown disappear, knowing he had just lost the only real thing in his fake, glittering life. And somewhere in the shadows, Victoria smirked, already typing a message that would destroy them both. The night was far from over. The emerald gown vanished through the terrace doors, and Alex chased after it like a man running from a burning building that happened to be his own life. Cold night air hit his face. Emily stood at the marble balustrade, city lights glittering below her like a spilled galaxy. Her back was straight, shoulders trembling only slightly. He stopped a few feet away, terrified to get closer. I was cruel, he said, voice raw. I was worse than cruel. I was blind and stupid, and I hurt the one person who never hurt me. Say whatever you need to say. Yell. Slap me. Just don't leave thinking I'm still that man. Emily turned. Tears had carved clean lines through her makeup, but her eyes were steady. You didn't just hurt me tonight, Alex. You hurt me every day for 2 years. Every Carter, fix this. Every time you looked past me like I was furniture. Tonight was only the finale. You took one step. I know. Do you? She laughed, bitter and beautiful. Because the second I walked in, you looked at me like I was a stranger. Not Emily who stayed until 3 a.m. when your Tokyo deal was falling apart. Not Emily who learned how you take your coffee when you're hungover versus when you're furious. Just a pretty girl in a dress. That's all it took, right? A dress. Alex swallowed hard. It wasn't the dress. It was the reminder that I never looked close enough to see you were already perfect. Emily shook her head. Perfect doesn't cover medical bills, Alex. Perfect doesn't sit in a hospital waiting room praying her little sister makes it through another round of chemo. Perfect is what people like you call women after they've spent their life savings on one night just to prove they're human. He flinched like she'd struck him. From inside, Victoria's voice rang out, sharp and drunk with rage. There you are, my husband and his little secretary having a moment. How touching. She stormed onto the terrace, phone already recording. The press is going to love this. Billionaire cheats with the help, classic. Alex stepped between them. Put the phone down, Victoria. Why? Afraid the world will see you for what you are. She laughed. I've been sleeping with Marcus Langford for 8 months. You never noticed because you were too busy noticing nothing. The confession hit him like ice water, but it didn't hurt. It felt like freedom. Then we're even, he said quietly. We both pretended. File the papers tomorrow. I won't fight you. Victoria blinked, thrown. She had expected a fight, tears, anything but calm surrender. She spun on her heel and left, already dialing her publicist. Silence fell again. Emily stared at him. You just let her go. I'll let a lie go. He met her eyes. I'm tired of lies, Emily. She wrapped her arms around herself. I can't be your redemption story. I won't. I don't want redemption. I want a chance to know the woman who just walked into a ballroom and burned my entire world down without raising her voice. She looked away. I have to go. My sister's nurse leaves at midnight. Let me drive you. No, then let me pay the nurse to stay all night. Please, not charity. Payment for 2 years of overtime you never billed me for. Emily hesitated, then gave a tiny nod. 3 weeks later, the headlines were brutal. Harrington divorce turns ugly. Cinderella or gold digger. The assistant who broke a marriage. Emily walked through the office gauntlet every morning, chin high, while strangers screamed outside the building. Alex watched from his glass tower, fists clenched, hating himself more each day that he started small, an anonymous donation that covered her sister's experimental treatment. A quiet transfer that paid off the mortgage on their tiny apartment. Every time Emily discovered the source, she marched into his office, fire in her eyes. Stop fixing me with money. I'm not fixing you. I'm returning what I stole. Time, peace, choices. She stopped arguing after the 4th time. One rainy Thursday. He found her asleep at her desk at 2 a.m., cheek on a stack of contracts, hair escaping its bun. He draped his jacket over her shoulders and carried her to the couch in his office. When she woke at dawn, he was still there, tie loosened, eyes red. I resigned as so yesterday, he said before she could speak. Step down. The board will scream, but I'm done.